Hello to everyone joining me in this incredible story. If you find strength in stories of courage, truth, and second chances, take a second to subscribe. It's free. Because what I'm about to share isn't just about betrayal or revenge. It's about finding out who you really are when life rips away all the masks. The night before my wedding, but in front of 200 stunned guests and the entire city. But you know, life doesn't care about your plans. It has a nasty habit of pulling the rug out right when you think you're standing tall. For 3 years, Oliver Maxwell was the man everyone said I was lucky to have. Tall, driven, from an old money family with roots so deep in this city, you'd think they invented the skyline. His mother, Eleanor, was a second mother to me. After I lost my parents, she filled the empty spaces with warmth and old family stories. His sister, Claire, became the best friend I never had. But I'd forgotten to give him his grandfather's cufflinks, Eleanor's request for the ceremony. The hotel staff all knew me, sent me straight to the private lounge, no questions asked. That's when I heard Oliver's laugh, followed by a slurred voice that felt like a slap. "Come on, man, you can't be serious about Sophia," James said, Oliver's best friend since college. "You know the type, all charm and no spine." "Why not? She's perfect on paper," Oliver replied, and my heart stopped right there. "Her trust fund will boost Maxwell Enterprises. Her connections are gold. And she'd never leave me. She's too loyal." The laughter that followed was sharp, but what he said next shattered everything. "She's just temporary. Until someone better comes along. Someone I actually want." I stood in that hallway, clutching those cufflinks, feeling 3 years of memories dissolve into a sick sort of clarity. The late-night business calls, the sudden canceled dates, the way he always found just the right words to steer my choices. I could see every red flag I'd ignored waving in my face, but I didn't cry. Not yet. I went home and opened my laptop. Being Oliver's partner in business had its perks. In a few hours, I had access to everything. Emails, financial records, secret bank accounts. Even messages to his mistress, a woman on his company's board. Betrayal stacked on betrayal. The wedding morning arrived with this eerie calm. I'd always imagined being nervous, hands shaking with excitement. But now there was just steel in my veins. My evidence was tucked away in a cream envelope inside my bridal suite. Eleanor burst in, eyes shining. Holding my bouquet, white peonies, pink roses, unaware it would soon be a weapon, not a symbol of love. My bridesmaids fluttered around me, and Claire, sweet Claire, adjusted my veil, whispering, "I can't believe my brother's this lucky." If only she knew. Every ping from my phone wasn't nerves. It was my private investigator confirming the final piece. At 11:45 a.m., the message came. "Reporter in position." I locked myself in the bathroom, hands shaking for the first time all morning, scrolling through screenshots. Offshore accounts, missing company funds, plans for Oliver's post-honeymoon with his mistress. Irony. Her name was Rebecca, and she sat on his board. I walked out, put on my lipstick like war paint, and faced Eleanor, who clasped a pearl necklace around my neck. A Maxwell heirloom, now just collateral damage. When it was finally time, I slipped the envelope into a hidden pocket sewn inside my dress. Yes, I was that prepared. The church was full, string quartet playing Pachelbel's Canon, the very song Oliver and I picked out months ago. I stood alone behind the doors. The doors opened, and there was Oliver. Perfect suit, perfect smile, no clue that his world was seconds from collapse. I walked down the aisle, not as a bride, but as a reckoning. At the altar, he reached for my hand. "You're dazzling," he whispered. I pulled away just a little. The priest started to speak, but I stopped him. "Before we begin," I said, my voice louder than I thought possible, "I want to share a few readings, not from the Bible, but from Oliver's emails to Rebecca, dated throughout our engagement." Silence, then gasps. Oliver's face drained of color as I read. "Once the wedding secures the merger and Sophia's trust fund is accessible, we can proceed with our plan. She suspects nothing." I watched Rebecca shrink in her seat, guests murmuring, James looking for a place to hide. Then the big finish. "And if anyone's interested, I have copies for the Financial Conduct Authority, who should be arriving right about now." As if on cue, 2 agents entered the church, and the place erupted. Oliver lunged, tried to grab the envelope, but I let the papers scatter, let everyone see the mess he'd made. Cameras flashed. He hissed at me, "You ruined everything." I smiled, slipping off the pearls. "No, Oliver. You did that all by yourself. I'm just making sure the world knows." Security intervened. Guests fled or filmed. Eleanor stood frozen, Claire sobbing. The perfect family, torn wide open. Oliver was led away in handcuffs, shouting that he loved me in his own way. "Your way was never enough," I told him, so low only he could hear. I walked out of that church alone. Investors pulled out, and I launched my own consulting firm, specializing in fraud prevention. Irony, right? Claire called often, her world shaken but standing. While Eleanor, 3 days after the disaster, showed up at my door, handing me those pearls. "You exposed the truth. That makes you more worthy than anyone who ever wore them." We drank tea, mourning and celebrating, as the company's collapse made room for real change. Anonymous tips helped many employees protect their savings before the fallout. One small mercy. A whistleblowing bride who traded love for justice, but it wasn't a choice. The second I heard the truth, I knew what I had to do. The trial dragged on, each day peeling back another layer of lies. The moment that stuck with me was Eleanor, on the stand, saying, "The truth must stand above blood." Oliver's mask finally cracked. Guilty on all counts, 15 years, no parole. As he was led away, Rebecca looked at me in her orange jumpsuit, James nowhere to be seen. The Maxwell women, Eleanor, Claire, and I, walked out together, closing a chapter with champagne and quiet tears. Months passed. My firm grew, the foundation launched to support women in business ethics, and the infamous Maxwell pearls became a symbol, not of power, but of transformation. I gave lectures on corporate responsibility, built something good from the wreckage Oliver left behind. Life found its way forward. Eleanor, Claire, and I became a new kind of family, forged in the fire of that betrayal. A year later, I was back at the Grand Royal Hotel, not for a wedding, but to speak about truth and transparency. In the crowd was Mark Harrison, a professor whose quiet support slowly became something more. No games, just honesty. Our work on ethics education turned into coffee, then dinners, then a love built on mutual respect and hard-won trust. Mark asked for nothing but the chance to walk beside me. Our wedding was nothing like the first, no cathedral, just a sun-drenched botanical garden, surrounded by real friends, real family. The pearls went to the foundation, a reminder of where we started and how far we'd come. As we danced, Mark whispered, "The truth doesn't always give you the ending you want, but it always gives you the one you need." And he was right. 6 years after the day my world ended, I got an invitation. Oliver, now out on parole, wanted to make amends. He looked nothing like the man I once loved, aged, humbled, speaking honestly for the first time. "You showed me a better way," he said, addressing my daughter, Grace. The foundation's work had reached the very place he served his time, turning his story into a lesson for others. We left that night lighter, not because he was redeemed, but because the truth had set all of us free. My family was now bound not by secrets or obligation, but by the courage to choose what's right, even when it hurts. So I ask you, what would you have done in my place? Does the truth always come out on its own, or does it need a push? Is real revenge about destruction, or about building something better? Comment your thoughts, subscribe if you believe in second chances, and share this story with someone who needs to know that the end of one dream can be the beginning of something extraordinary. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't about watching someone fall, it's about helping others rise.